You've told me before, but your rally training was at Bush Davis, which is
Yes.
fantastic. So, did you always want to be a performer, Sue, or did you want to be a teacher, or did you want to be both?
No, I definitely wanted to be a performer. Teaching was definitely not something that was in my mind's eye anyway. Right from the time probably when I went to see English National Ballet, I think it was, do Swan Lake at the Hippodrome, and Beryl Gray was there, and I just saw these swans on the stage, and I just looked up and thought, I'm doing that. I was very determined. Yeah.
So you were a determined young swan, even at that age. So as well as the Silver Swan licensee RAD teacher, I believe that you've got connections to a famous company, the Mark Bruce Company. Can you tell me what part you play with them?
Yeah, well, that's been a role that's really grown over the years. I first met Mark Bruce and his wife Elle, who dances in the company, through their contemporary classes, which they started teaching in Frome, in the local theatre. And so through that, got to know them bit by bit. And then I started to help them out because they were touring with their 3 children, all of who were dancing. So I would be taking them sometimes off to Bath to their associate classes and all sorts. So just sort of started in that way. And then over the years, the role has grown as we've got to know each other better and better. In more recent years, I've been working in a pastoral role with them. Mm-hmm. So they have yearly summer schools, apart from obviously during the COVID era. But they have summer schools for a week where we accommodate all the students. These are vocational students. And we take them out every night to restaurants to feed them. So it's quite involved in organising all of that. And then when they're here, looking after them, basically, dealing with any issues that they might have. And that role has grown. I help them out with sewing costumes sometimes when the time is right. So all sorts. I'm quite good at putting a hand in all over the place, really. And we also follow them when they tour. We my husband and I take the opportunity to go and see them all around the country and have a few days wherever they are, which is lovely. Yeah, I think if anybody sees any of the productions advertised, go, because they are very different. They're very, very theatrical. Okay. I think some people would say it was called dance theatre, actually. Mm-hmm. Very dramatic, very dark. Mark has a very particular style that he has created of his own. His dancers are immensely strong, beautifully trained dancers, very strong classically. But also, obviously, this is contemporary dance that they're doing. But there's a lot, you see a lot of classical stuff come in to his work. In fact, one of the dancers has just walked past me now because she's living upstairs for a week while they've been doing some filming down in the woods. He's done the most amazing works. Dracula won the Sky Arts Award. He has done a few story ballets like Dracula, where he's taken, but a lot of his other work is not a story work. It will have a theme. He knows what those themes are, but they're not necessarily quite so obvious, but very emotional stuff with music from classical right through to Nick Cave and the like. Yeah,
we're going to come to you soon now, if we can, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about mental health and well-being. It's a very kind of key topic, certainly in the last year and a half or so. What would be your tips, Sue, to other dance teachers and teachers out there about well-being and mental health, or how perhaps has it changed, do you think, these days for yourself compared to the past for dance teachers?
I'm hoping it's changed hugely. I think as part of our training, it's sort of instilled in you that you sort yourself out. You know, you're in charge of yourself,
right?
And you don't go to other people, or you don't talk about things you struggle with. That certainly is what I think I took a lot from my training. which I think is quite sad, and that stays with you. Certainly, people maybe of my era, that would stay with you. And I think it's been an absolute revelation for me, for example, to have been part of the informal Zoom meetings that we've had, just to touch base and realize that it's all right to share these feelings and thoughts that you have, because it's a very isolating world, I think.
It is.
You've got a lot of responsibility, and there's no one to share it with, really. So sharing that, and I don't think in the past teachers, or certainly during my era of teaching children over the years, I don't think I've ever shared anything, emotional.
Exactly. Yes,
so the opportunity to do that now is just,
it's fantastic. It's almost like making me think that we need a sort of mentoring service for dancers and dance teachers, where anybody really, could go to somebody who'd got that bit of knowledge, or just as a support, as a crutch, would be fantastic.
I think over the years the training has been, I don't know that it is so much now, but it was a very negative training.
Yes.
Nothing was ever good enough.
No,
so
never.
That's how you end up feeling about yourself. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's very interesting to hear. If you could choose your career again, and maybe you don't want to do that, what would you choose? Would it be dance, do you think, or would it be something else?
No, it would be dance. But I do wish that I could go back and do it again. I mean, it's ridiculous, I know, but I really would like to go and have that opportunity. Now I'm the person that I am now, with more experience and more confidence, perhaps, in myself. I hope it's growing anyway. I really wish that with that confidence, I could go back and have those conversations with teachers that I didn't ever dream that you could, about how was I doing. And so I would definitely go and do it again, but I'd like to have more experience, or have had more confidence to ask questions and talk to people at the time.
Absolutely. So this is the exciting part. You're a Silver Swan licensee, you were an RAD teacher with children, teaching children, and now you're working aside with the Mark Bruce Company. So what projects, have you got lined up for yourself, Sue, in the future?
Well, at 66.
Never.
You have to think.
You didn't hear that online.
Doesn't matter. I think now I have retired from some other little part-time jobs that I had, and I just have my Silver Swans now. I'm ready, really, for whatever the company throws at me next. It could be anything. I mean, if they say we'd like you to do this, I'd probably go and do that. But yes, continuing to support the company is really important. Continuing with Silver Swans as long as I'm able, or they want me, and maybe going towards looking at teaching people with Parkinson's. Or I know we've approached a lot of care homes. I've had a request this week for someone can they come to class in a wheelchair, and I'm thinking, how do we best accommodate that? So there's lots out there. And there's lots more to learn as well.
Gosh, Sue, looking very young and wonderful, by the way. We didn't really hear Sue's age. I wouldn't have known. I don't know about everybody else out there. Absolutely, looking absolutely wonderful. Maybe it's the dancing, Sue, that's kept you so young and beautiful. But anyway, that is just wonderful. And thank you so much, Sue McGovern. That was Sue McGovern. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the future and seeing more from you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.